My fiancé left me at the altar for someone with a trust fund. 6 months later, I walked into his engagement party on the arm of the richest man in the city. But here's the twist. This billionaire didn't want my money or status. He wanted something money can't buy. If you've ever been told you're not good enough, stick around. This story will show you that sometimes losing everything is exactly what you need to find your true worth. Hit that like button if you believe in second chances, and let's dive in. Hi, I'm Alice, and I need to tell you about the day my entire world fell apart, and how it led me to the most beautiful love story I never saw coming. Picture this. It's supposed to be the happiest day of my life. I'm standing in a small bridal suite, adjusting my simple white dress that I bought on sale 3 months earlier. My hands are shaking as I put on the pearl earrings my grandmother gave me. I can hear the soft chatter of our 50 guests outside, people who took time off work to celebrate Kevin and me finally tying the knot. I met Kevin 3 years ago at a coffee shop near the elementary school where I teach. He was this charming guy in a crisp suit, always talking about his big dreams in marketing. I fell for his ambition, his confidence, the way he made me laugh when I was stressed about my students or worried about paying rent. We weren't wealthy. I made a teacher's salary and he was climbing the corporate ladder, but we had plans. We were going to build something together. But that morning, as I'm taking deep breaths and trying to calm my nerves, Kevin walks into my bridal suite. Not the groom's room where he's supposed to be, my bridal suite, and the look on his face. I knew immediately something was terribly wrong. "Alice, we need to talk," he says, and his voice is cold in a way I've never heard before. My heart starts pounding, but not from wedding excitement anymore. "Kevin, what's wrong? Are you getting cold feet? It's normal. I can't marry you." The words hit me like a physical blow. "I'm sorry, but I can't do this. I can't marry you." I stare at him, waiting for the punchline, waiting for him to smile and say he's just nervous. But he doesn't. He's looking at everything in the room except me. "What do you mean you can't marry me? Kevin, our guests are here. My family drove 8 hours to be here. What are you talking about?" That's when he finally looks at me and I see something in his eyes I've never seen before. Guilt, yes, but also something else. Relief, like he's been carrying a secret and he's finally free to let it out. "I've been seeing someone else, Alice. Her name is Melody. She's different from you. She can give me things, opportunities that you can't." The room starts spinning. "You've been cheating on me?" "It's not like that." "Well, it is, but it's more complicated. Melody's father owns the Harrison hotel chain. She's offering me a partnership, a chance to start my own marketing firm with real backing. Alice, this could change my entire life." And there it is, the real reason. Not love, not passion, not even that we've grown apart. Money, status, a better life that doesn't include the elementary school teacher who clips coupons and shops at thrift stores. "So you're leaving me at the altar for a business opportunity?" My voice sounds strange, like it's coming from someone else. "Don't make it sound so cold. I care about you, Alice. I always will. But be honest, what future do we really have? You'll always be a teacher making $35,000 a year. I want more than that. I deserve more than that." Those words. I deserve more than that, like I'm less than, like 3 years of loving him, of supporting his dreams, of believing in us, amounts to nothing because my bank account isn't big enough. I want to scream. I want to throw something. Instead, I just stand there in my wedding dress, feeling smaller and smaller with each second. "The guests, Kevin, what am I supposed to tell them?" "Tell them whatever you want. I'm sorry, Alice. I really am." And then he walks out. Just like that. 3 years, gone in 5 minutes. Maya, my best friend and maid of honor, finds me 20 minutes later sitting on the floor in my wedding dress, mascara running down my cheeks. She takes one look at me and knows. She doesn't ask questions, doesn't make me explain. She just sits down next to me and holds my hand while I fall apart. "He's gone, Maya. He left me for someone with money." Maya's jaw tightens. She's always been protective of me, and I can see her anger building. That pathetic excuse for a man doesn't deserve you. He never did. But maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'll never be enough for anyone. Alice, look at me. Maya grabs my shoulders. You are a beautiful, kind, intelligent woman who shapes young minds every day. You volunteer at the animal shelter on weekends. You remember everyone's birthday. You cry during commercials about rescued puppies. If Kevin can't see that, if he thinks money matters more than who you are as a person, then good riddance. But her words, as sweet as they are, can't fix the humiliation. I have to walk out there and tell 50 people that there's no wedding. I have to face my parents, my siblings, my students' parents who came to celebrate with me. I have to return gifts and cancel a honeymoon and figure out how to move out of the apartment Kevin and I shared. The next few weeks blur together in a haze of shame and heartbreak. I take a leave of absence from teaching because I can't handle the sympathetic looks from my colleagues or the innocent questions from my students about why I look so sad. I move in with Maya temporarily and spend most days in pajamas, scrolling through social media like I'm picking at a wound, and there they are, Kevin and Melody, all over Instagram and Facebook. She's everything I'm not. Blonde, polished, always in designer clothes with perfect makeup. Their photos are taken at expensive restaurants, charity galas, weekend trips to Martha's Vineyard. Kevin looks happier than I ever saw him with me, and each photo feels like another confirmation that he was right. He did deserve more than I could give him. Maya tries to get me out of the apartment, but I'm stuck in this spiral of self-doubt. Maybe I am too plain, too ordinary, too broke to be worthy of real love. Maybe everyone I meet will eventually realize they can do better. After 2 months of this, Maya has had enough. Alice, I love you, but you need to get out of this apartment before you disappear completely. You're starting to look like a ghost. I'm not ready to go back to teaching yet. I'm not talking about teaching, I'm talking about living. When's the last time you brushed your hair? When's the last time you left this apartment for something other than groceries? She's right, and I know it. I need to do something, anything, to start putting myself back together. That's when I see the Help Wanted sign in the window of Corner Books and Coffee, a tiny bookstore cafe about 10 blocks from Maya's apartment. It's the kind of place I always loved but never had time to visit when I was planning a wedding and managing a classroom. The owner, Mrs. Patterson, is this sweet woman in her 70s who's looking for part-time help. The pay is terrible, but it's enough to help Maya with expenses, and more importantly, it gets me out of bed every day. The work is simple: making coffee, helping customers find books, ringing up sales. There's something soothing about the routine, the quiet conversations with customers, the smell of coffee and old books. It's been about 3 months since Kevin left when Daniel first walks in. I notice him immediately, not because he's particularly flashy, but because he seems so genuinely interested in everything around him. While most customers rush in for their coffee and leave, Daniel takes his time. He examines book covers, reads back jacket summaries, asks thoughtful questions about authors I recommend. "Is this any good?" he asks, holding up a worn copy of a novel about a man who gives up his corporate job to become a baker. "It's one of my favorites," I tell him. "It's about finding what really matters to you, even if it's not what everyone else thinks you should want." Sounds like something I need to read. He smiles, and it's such a genuine, warm smile that I feel something I haven't felt in months. A little spark of happiness. Daniel becomes a regular. Every Tuesday and Thursday, around 2 o'clock, he comes in for black coffee and usually buys a book. We start having longer conversations about literature, about life, about dreams. He tells me he loves stories about people who rebuild themselves after losing everything. I share my favorite books about second chances and finding strength you didn't know you had. What I love about Daniel is how present he is. When we talk, he's not checking his phone or looking around the cafe. He's focused on our conversation, asking follow-up questions, remembering details from previous talks. He makes me feel interesting again, like I have thoughts worth sharing. "You have such insight into these characters," he says one day after I recommend a book about a woman starting over after divorce. "It's like you really understand what it means to rebuild your life." I guess I'm going through something similar, I admit. Not divorce, but starting over. Want to talk about it? And somehow I do. I tell him about Kevin, about being left at the altar, about feeling like I wasn't good enough. Daniel listens without judgment, without trying to fix everything or offer easy solutions. "You know what I think?" he says when I finish. "I think Kevin did you a favor. Anyone who can't see your worth isn't worthy of your time?" Easy to say, harder to believe. I get that. But Alice, in the few weeks I've been coming here, I've watched you light up talking about books, about stories that matter to you. I've seen you be patient with difficult customers, kind to everyone who walks through that door. You have this warmth about you that makes people feel welcome. That's not common. That's special. Something shifts in me when he says that. For the first time since Kevin left, I feel like maybe I do have value beyond my bank account. Our friendship deepens over the following weeks. Daniel starts staying longer during his visits, and our conversations range from books to childhood memories to our biggest fears and dreams. I learn that he's incredibly down to earth despite clearly being successful. His clothes are nice but not flashy. He drives a reliable but modest car, and he never name drops or talks about expensive purchases. "What do you do for work?" I finally ask one day. "Technology," he says simply. "Started a company a few years ago. Nothing too exciting." I don't push for details because I appreciate that he doesn't seem to define himself by his job the way Kevin always did. After about 6 weeks of these regular visits, Daniel asks if I'd like to get dinner sometime. "Just as friends," he adds quickly, "unless you'd want it to be more than that." I'm terrified and excited in equal measure. It's been 7 months since Kevin left, and while I've been healing, the idea of dating still feels scary. But there's something about Daniel that feels safe, authentic. Our first dinner is at a small Italian place where the pasta is handmade and the owner treats everyone like family. Daniel tells me more about his background, how he grew up in a working-class family, put himself through college, started his tech company in his garage with his best friend from high school. "Success is weird," he admits over dessert. "You think it'll solve all your problems, but it actually creates new ones. People treat you differently when they know you have money. They want things from you, or they assume you're arrogant, or they're intimidated. It gets lonely." "Is that why you didn't tell me what you do specifically?" "Partly, but mostly because I liked that you saw me as just Daniel. Not Daniel who owns a company, or Daniel who can afford expensive things. Just me." I understand that feeling more than he knows. Kevin saw me as Alice, the teacher who couldn't advance his social status. Daniel sees me as Alice, who loves stories and treats people with kindness. We start officially dating, taking things slow. Daniel is patient with my insecurities, understanding when I have moments of doubt about whether I'm good enough for someone like him. He consistently shows me through his actions that he values who I am as a person. It's Maya who finally Googles Daniel and discovers the truth. "Alice, do you know who you're dating?" she asks, laptop open, staring at search results. "Daniel? Why?" "Daniel Martinez, founder and CEO of Technova Solutions. Alice, he's worth about $2 billion. He's one of the richest people in the state." My stomach drops. "What?" Maya shows me articles about Daniel, photos of him at charity galas and tech conferences. He looks different in the photos, more formal, more serious, but it's definitely him. I feel sick. Has this whole thing been some kind of game to him? Am I just his charity case, the poor little teacher he felt sorry for? When Daniel comes into the cafe the next day, I'm cold and distant. "Did I do something wrong?" he asks, concerned. "Were you going to tell me who you really are?" Understanding crosses his face. "You found out about the company." $2 billion, Daniel. You're worth $2 billion and you let me think you were just some regular guy who works in tech. I am just some regular guy who works in tech. The money doesn't change who I am. Doesn't it? Why didn't you tell me? Were you embarrassed to be seen with someone like me? Was this all just some kind of social experiment? Daniel looks hurt. "Alice, how can you even think that? The reason I didn't tell you is because every relationship I've had since the company took off has been about the money. Women who pretended to care about me but really cared about what I could buy them. Friends who suddenly needed loans. Family members who saw me as a walking ATM. So what am I then? Your pet poor person?" You're the first woman in years who liked me before she knew I had money. You're the person who recommended books based on what you thought I'd actually enjoy, not what would impress me. You're someone who sees me as a person, not a bank account." His words sink in slowly. I think about our conversations, how natural they felt, how Daniel never tried to impress me with expensive gestures or talk about his wealth. He brought me coffee shop flowers, not roses from the most expensive florist in town. He recommended his favorite hole-in-the-wall restaurants instead of five-star establishments. I'm scared, I admit. Kevin left me because I couldn't give him the lifestyle he wanted? What if you eventually realize you could do better than a teacher who shops at discount stores? Alice, look at me. Daniel steps closer. I've had everything money can buy. Cars, houses, vacations, designer everything. None of it made me as happy as talking to you about books in this little cafe. None of it gave me what you give me every time you smile when I walk through that door. Which is what? The feeling that someone cares about Daniel, the person, not Daniel the bank account. The feeling that I matter for who I am, not what I have. We work through it. I realize that my fear isn't really about Daniel's money. It's about my own insecurity, my lingering belief that Kevin was right about me not being enough. But Daniel consistently shows me that he values the things about me that Kevin dismissed. My compassion, my love of learning, my ability to connect with people, my determination to make a difference in my students' lives. I go back to teaching, and Daniel is endlessly supportive. He asks about my students, celebrates my small victories, listens when I'm frustrated with school politics. He starts volunteer tutoring programs and funds classroom supplies for low-income schools, not to impress me, but because he genuinely believes in the importance of education. 6 months after that first conversation in the bookstore, Maya shows me something on Instagram that makes my blood run cold. Kevin and Melody are engaged, she says, showing me a photo of a massive diamond ring. And they're having an engagement party at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel this weekend. The Grand Metropolitan, the fanciest hotel in the city, the kind of place Kevin and I never could have afforded for our wedding reception. Are you okay? Maya asks. Surprisingly, I am. Looking at the photo doesn't hurt the way I expected it to. Instead, I feel something like relief. Kevin looks exactly the same. That practiced smile he wore when he was trying to impress someone. Melody looks beautiful but cold, already checking her phone in the engagement photo. You know what's funny? I tell Maya. I think I dodged a bullet. Does this mean you're finally over him? I think I've been over him for a while. I just didn't realize it. That weekend, Daniel and I are getting coffee at our usual spot when he suggests we go to a nice dinner to celebrate 6 months together. There's this charity auction at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel tonight. We could go, support a good cause, have a proper date. My heart stops. The Grand Metropolitan? Tonight? Is something wrong? I tell him about Kevin's engagement party. It's probably happening at the same time as your auction. We don't have to go if it makes you uncomfortable. But something in me has shifted. I'm not the broken woman who hid in Maya's apartment for months. I'm not the girl who believed she wasn't good enough. I've spent the last year rebuilding myself, rediscovering my worth, falling in love with someone who sees me clearly and chooses me anyway. Actually, I say, I think I'd like to go. Daniel studies my face. Are you sure? I don't want you to feel like you have to prove anything. I'm not trying to prove anything, I want to show up as who I am now, not who I was when Kevin left me. That evening, I wear a dress Maya helped me pick out. Nothing too expensive, but elegant and flattering. Daniel picks me up in his car, and I'm nervous but also excited. For the first time since Kevin left, I feel confident in my own skin. The Grand Metropolitan is exactly as fancy as I imagined. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, everyone dressed to impress. But instead of feeling intimidated the way I would have a year ago, I feel like I belong here because I'm with someone who wants me here. We're checking in at the charity auction when I hear a familiar voice behind me. Alice? I turn around, and there's Kevin, looking exactly as polished as always in an expensive tuxedo. Next to him is Melody, blonde and beautiful in a silver gown that probably costs more than I make in a month. Kevin, Melody, congratulations on your engagement. Kevin's eyes immediately go to Daniel, taking in his tailored suit, his confident posture, the way he stands close to me with his hand resting gently on my back. This is Daniel, I say smoothly. Daniel, this is Kevin and his fiancée Melody. Daniel steps forward to shake Kevin's hand. Nice to meet you both. I can see Kevin trying to place Daniel, trying to figure out who he is and what he does. Melody looks bored until she notices Daniel's watch, something expensive that I've never paid attention to, but that clearly catches her interest. What do you do, Daniel? Kevin asks, and I can hear the competitive edge in his voice. I work in technology. Oh, like IT support? Daniel smiles. Something like that. Kevin relaxes slightly, clearly thinking he's won some kind of contest. I'm in marketing now. Actually, Melody and I are launching our own firm. Her father is backing us with some serious investment. That sounds wonderful, I say, and I mean it. I'm sure you'll be very successful. What about you, Alice? Still teaching? I am. I love it more than ever, actually. Kevin glances around the elegant hotel lobby. Must be hard affording places like this on a teacher's salary. It's such a Kevin thing to say, designed to make me feel small and out of place. A year ago, it would have worked. Actually, Daniel says quietly, this is my charity auction. I host it every year to raise money for educational programs. The color drains from Kevin's face. Your charity auction? Daniel Martinez. Daniel extends his hand again. Technova Solutions. I watch Kevin's expression change as he recognizes the name. His eyes go wide, then narrow, then fill with something that looks like panic. Melody's demeanor completely shifts. Suddenly she's interested in Daniel, stepping closer, touching his arm when she talks. I had no idea. I follow your company's work closely. Perhaps we could discuss some marketing opportunities? But Daniel's attention is entirely on me. Would you like to get some air? He asks. It's getting crowded in here. As we walk away, I hear Kevin calling my name. Alice, wait, can we talk? Daniel squeezes my hand. Do you want to talk to him? Actually, yes, but only for a minute. Daniel nods and steps aside, but stays close enough that I feel safe. Kevin approaches with that familiar, charming smile, but I can see the desperation underneath it now. Alice, you look incredible, really beautiful. Thank you. I had no idea you were seeing someone so successful. You mean someone with money? Kevin has the grace to look embarrassed. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. Kevin, it's okay. I understand now why you left. You thought you were trading up, finding someone who could give you a better life. I made a mistake, Alice. I see that now. What we had was real, and I threw it away. I look at him, really look at him, and feel nothing but pity. Kevin, what we had was real for me, but it was never real for you, because you never saw me. You saw a limitation, something holding you back from the life you thought you deserved. That's not true. It is true, and that's okay because it led me to someone who sees me clearly and chooses me anyway, someone who values the same things I value. The money, you mean? I laugh, and it's genuine. No, Kevin, not the money. Daniel had no reason to tell me about his wealth because that's not what our relationship is built on. We fell in love in a bookstore cafe over conversations about stories and dreams and what makes life meaningful. Kevin glances over at Daniel, who's talking quietly with an older couple, clearly giving us privacy but keeping an eye on me. He's just better at hiding his priorities than I was. No, Kevin. He's just a better man than you are. The words come out calm and clear, without anger or malice. They're simply the truth. Kevin stares at me for a long moment. I could have given you this life too, Alice. We could have figured it out together. No, we couldn't, because you never believed I was worth figuring it out with. The minute someone shinier came along, you left. That's not love, Kevin. That's not partnership. I turn to walk back to Daniel, but Kevin grabs my arm. Alice, please, I know I messed up, but we could try again. I love you. You love the idea of me with someone else's money. But Kevin, here's the thing. Even if Daniel and I don't work out, even if I end up alone, I will never settle for someone who sees me as a consolation prize again. I gently pull my arm free and walk back to Daniel, who's been watching the entire exchange with patient concern. Everything okay? He asks softly. Everything's perfect. Daniel takes my hand and we head into the auction. Throughout the evening, I watch him interact with people, donors, business partners, charity organizers. He's gracious and professional, but he never makes me feel excluded or unimportant. When people ask who I am, he introduces me with genuine pride as his girlfriend Alice, the teacher. You know what I love about tonight? I tell him during dinner. What's that? A year ago, I would have felt like I didn't belong here, like I was pretending to be someone I'm not. But with you, I feel like I belong wherever we are together. Daniel reaches across the table and takes my hand. That's because you do belong. You belong anywhere you want to be, Alice. You always did. As the auction winds down, Daniel and I step out onto the hotel's terrace. The city lights are beautiful, but not as beautiful as the way Daniel is looking at me. Alice, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? I love you. I've loved you since that first day in the bookstore when you recommended that book about the man who became a baker. I love your kindness, your intelligence, the way you see the best in people. I love that you chose to be with me before you knew I had anything to offer except myself. My heart swells. I love you too, Daniel. I love that you saw me when I couldn't see myself. I love that you waited for me to heal, that you never tried to fix me or change me. I have something else to tell you. Daniel looks nervous, which is unusual for him. Or rather, something to ask you. He gets down on one knee right there on the terrace, and my heart stops. Alice, I don't have a fancy ring or an elaborate plan. I just know that I want to spend my life with you, supporting your dreams, building something real together. Will you marry me? The ring he pulls out isn't massive or flashy. It's beautiful and classic, exactly what I would have chosen for myself. Yes, I say, tears streaming down my face. Yes, of course, yes. As Daniel slips the ring onto my finger, I think about the journey that brought me here. Kevin leaving me at the altar felt like the end of the world, but it was actually the beginning of my real life. It forced me to discover who I was when I wasn't trying to be what someone else wanted me to be. Daniel and I have a small wedding 6 months later. Not because we can't afford something bigger, but because we want something intimate and meaningful. My students make me cards, Daniel's employees donate to literacy programs in lieu of wedding gifts, and Maya cries through the entire ceremony. I go back to teaching, and Daniel continues running his company, but we also start a foundation together focused on education and literacy. We travel together, read together, dream together. Sometimes I see updates about Kevin and Melody on social media. Their relationship seems to be struggling. Lots of arguments captured by photographers, rumors about infidelity, business problems with their marketing firm. I feel sorry for both of them, trapped in a partnership built on what they could gain from each other rather than who they are together. But mostly, I don't think about them at all. I'm too busy being happy. The other day, one of my students asked me about my wedding ring. Mrs. Martinez, did your husband give you that because he loves you? He did, sweetie. But you know what? The ring isn't what shows me he loves me. What does? The way he listens when I talk about my day. The way he makes me coffee in the morning. The way he believes in my dreams and helps me achieve them. Love isn't about expensive gifts. It's about choosing someone every day and letting them choose you back. Looking back, I realize that Kevin did me the greatest favor of my life when he left me at that altar. He freed me to become who I was meant to be, to find the love I actually deserved. And Daniel? Daniel didn't choose me because I was rich or poor, successful or struggling. He chose me because of who I am when all the external stuff is stripped away. He chose the part of me that Kevin never even saw. That's the thing about real love. It doesn't care about your bank account or your job title, or whether you're the most impressive person in the room. Real love sees your heart and decides that's enough. Real love sees your potential and helps you reach it. Real love sees your worth even when you can't see it yourself. Kevin thought he was trading up when he left me for Melody. What he actually did was trade real love for a business transaction. And me? I learned that being abandoned by the wrong person is just making room for the right person to find you. Alice learned that the right person will love you for who you are, not what you can give them. If this story inspired you, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for more amazing stories about love, betrayal, and ultimate triumph. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they're worthy of real love. What would you have done in Alice's situation? Let me know in the comments below.